Let's please go ahead and call the Senate to order. Sergeant at Arms will please secure the chamber doors. Members, please take your seats. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. President.
All right, Senators, this morning we are very pleased to have the Reverend Dantuan Brody of Temple Church and Ministries in Baltimore, Maryland, guest of the distinguished senator from the 45th District. Please rise for the invocation.
Good morning. Let's pray. Our Father, how we thank you for another day of peace, purpose, power, provision, and prosperity. Thank you for the wonderful privilege to guide and serve the great people of the state of Maryland. I pray that you grant each senator today clarity of mind and thought. Grant them wisdom and understanding and decision-making today as they give direction for our today and tomorrow. I pray that you bless the communities of the districts that they serve, along with their families, businesses, and nonprofits in those districts. I pray that the legislation discussed and granted today will be both a blessing now and for years to come. I pray that as you allow them to govern the great state of to govern the people of this great state, that you would govern them to do what is right for the betterment of all people, regardless of race, gender, religion, and economic status. We pray that you not only bless the Senate of Maryland, but all branches of state government. Be a conduit of peace in matters where we may not agree, as well as a bridge for change and empowerment. Thank you for your guidance and your grace, and for a glimpse of our future. In your strong and powerful name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. That was wonderful. Chair recognizes the senator from the 45th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to take the opportunity for the body to recognize Pastor Brody. Reverend Brody is East Baltimore through and through, a graduate of Lake Clifton High School. He's also entrenched in the work that's going on in the Broadway East community. He's a member of our State Central Committee. He is one of those leaders that we're so proud of, just watching his leadership of what it is, what it has become, but what it will be going forward. Body, if you can just stand with me and recognize Pastor Brody, and also, Mr. President, if we can journalize the remarks.
Without objection, Senator, most certainly we will journalize the wonderful remarks this morning and thank the pastor for his work and being here with us today. Start us off the right way. Thank you. All right, has everyone recorded their presence in the chamber? Almost. It appears so. Yep, okay. The clerk will take the call. With 44 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland is now in session. We have a busy day today. We're just a few minutes late here, just a little Senate time this morning. Let's go ahead and start, if we may. We have three resolutions. The first one we'll do is from my wonderful alma mater, law school. We are celebrating the incredible 200th anniversary, one of the first law schools in the entire country to operate, a storied history, and we're so pleased to be joined here today with Dean Renee Hutchins of the Carey School of Law, as well as President of UMB, Bruce Jarrell, who has just been a wonderful leader over these last few years, and we are so blessed to have such an incredible institution, and we'd like to celebrate the 200 years of progress. So if Madam Clerk, if you could please read the resolution in full.
Be it hereby known to all that the Maryland General Assembly offers its sincerest congratulations to University of Maryland Francis King Carey School of Law in recognition of 200 years of progress and bold leadership in legal education in the state. As Maryland's flagship law school and the fourth oldest law school in the nation, we commend your dedication to excellence. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution be presented on this 30th day of January, 2024.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? If so, the clerk will take the call. To our wonderful leaders of both the Carey School of Law as well as UMB, thank you so much and congratulations on 200 years of the fourth oldest law school in the country. Thank you for your work. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We have a number of alums here in the chamber of the UMB. Phenomenal place. Next, we have some champions in the ring, not the legal ring, but a different ring. We have, let's recognize the senator from the 45th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. Coming back for a second bite at the apple. I just want to say congratulations to Baltimore natives, Mac Allison, the fourth, Malik Titus, and Terrell Boyd. Terrell Boyd holds the title for the USBU super middleweight. Mac Allison holds the super featherweight WBC USA World Boxing title, and Mr. Titus, the WBC USA silver heavyweight title. They're also joined by their coach, Mr. Mac Allison Jr. Mr. Mac Allison trains at Time to Grind Boxing right there for Transforming Life Church of God, right on Sipple Avenue in the heart of my district. I just say thank you for your leadership, and Mr. President, if we can read the resolution.
Clerk will read the resolution in full.
Be it hereby known to all that the Senate of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Mac Allison IV, Malik Titus, and Tyrell Boyd in recognition of winning the WBC USA Super Featherweight, Silver Heavyweight, and USBU Super Midweight titles respectively, and achieving United States and world rankings. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution be presented on this 30th day of January, 2024.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? If so, the clerk will take the call. To Mr. Allison, Mr. Titus, and Mr. Boyd, congratulations. The Senate of Maryland unanimously celebrates your work and wishes you the best moving forward. Keep up the amazing progress. Congratulations. Thank you all. Representing Maryland proud. All right, we have one additional, not quite a champion of the boxing ring or the legal ring, but another sort of ring. We have Senator from Frederick.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, it is my distinct privilege to introduce the 2023 National Marbles Tournament champion to 16-year-old Jessica Thompson. Jessica, who is part of the Frederick County Knucklers representing Middletown Valley, Maryland, won the girls' championship at the 100th Annual National Marbles Tournament in Wildwood, New Jersey. In addition to winning the top title in the girls' division and other awards and prizes, she won the honor of good sportsmanship, both of which provide college scholarships. As 2023 marks the 100th annual anniversary of the tournament, it is regarded as the oldest children's competitive sport in the United States, having started in 1922. Initially, the competition was exclusively open to boys, but it wasn't until after 1948 that girls were granted the opportunity to participate. Therefore, Jessica's inclusion in a select group of girls who have attained the win is truly remarkable. This year's event commemorates a century-old American tradition that showcases the accomplishments of young individuals nurturing their innate competitive spirit along the way. During the week of June 22nd, girls and boys from all across the nation gathered to participate in tournaments engaging in a staggering number of over 1,000 games of ringer. The tournament featured players between the ages of 7 and 14 with separated divisions for girls and boys. Throughout the intense three-day event, Jessica displayed her exceptional skills by competing in more than 100 games. Dominating the preliminary rounds, she secured the first position among the girls after 3 rounds, boasting an impressive mark of 42 wins and only 2 losses. Alongside another talented member of the Maryland team, May Kamisic, Jessica advanced to the semifinals as part of the top 8 competitors. In the final showdown, Jessica faced off against a formidable opponent from, Cumberland, Maryland. With my seatmate, I apologize. With determination and skill, she emerged victorious, winning 8 games to 4 and clinching the championship. She will be inducted into the National Marbles Hall of Fame in Wildwood, New Jersey in June of this year. Jessica is here with her mother, Patricia, and her family in the gallery. Colleagues, would you please help me welcome and recognizing her achievement with a warm Senate welcome.
Welcome. The clerk will read the resolution in full.
Be it hereby known to all that the Senate of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Jessica Thompson in recognition of winning the 2023 Girls' Championship at the 100th Annual National Marbles Tournament in Wildwood, New Jersey. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this 30th day of January, 2024.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Everyone wishes to
Mr. President.
change their vote? Explaining his vote?
Wish to explain my vote. I was having a great conversation over here with Jessica and her mom, and my children enjoy playing marbles. I've been beating them, but it turns out I may have been cheating. So
Oh.
I appreciate this being straightened out, and congratulations on a wonderful achievement.
Excellent. Very good. All right. Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of Education, Energy, and the Environment.
I just want to congratulate Jessica because most of us have lost our marbles. So the fact that she has found them and played with them seems like a good move.
All right. Everyone recorded their vote. The clerk will take the call. Ms. Thompson, congratulations. The Senate of Maryland sincerely and unanimously celebrates your wonderful victory and representing Maryland well. Thank you again. Thank you. All right. I think that does it for our resolutions for this morning, but do we have guests? Do we have guests today? Chair recognizes the Senator from the 33rd District.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, colleagues, it is Maryland Bankers Association Day here in Annapolis. With us today in the Senate Gallery are bankers from across the state who have come here to participate in the Maryland Bankers Association's Day in Annapolis. Founded in 1896, the Maryland Bankers Association is the premier advocacy organization for Maryland banks and bankers. Maryland banks employ over 26,000 people and hold over $209 billion in deposits. Bankers from your district will be visiting your offices later this morning to discuss their legislative priorities for this session. We're excited to have them here today, so let's give them a warm Senate welcome. Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome to the Maryland Bankers. Welcome. All right, any further guests? Any further guests? It appears not. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead. So we consider the reading of the journal from the prior legislative day. We have some additional bills. This is calendar number 24. Clerk will read the calendar.
Senate Bill 700, Senator Carrozza, Law Enforcement Officers Pension System Membership, 911 Specialist, Budget and Taxation.
Majority
Senate
Leader
Bill-
moves so we consider the reading of the bills. They'll be referred to their standing committees. We've got Senate bond initiatives, calendar 14. Clerk will read the bond initiative.
Number 1, Senator Kagan, Every Mind Headquarters, Budget and Taxation.
All right, the legislative bond initiative will be referred to the Capital Budget Subcommittee. We have the report out of the Committee on Finance. This is calendar 2. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 210, Chair, Finance Committee, Emergency Medical Services, Paramedics, Immunization Administration, effective date favorable with one amendment.
Chair recognizes the Chair of the Committee as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is an departmental bill that extends by 5 more years until January 1st, 2030, the law that authorizes a paramedic to administer influenza and COVID-19 immunizations as part of a population health outreach effort conducted by a local health department, a hospital, or a health system. The amendment is technical and updates COVID immunization technology to current use. I move the amendment and the adoption of the favorable committee report.
All right, floor leader moves to the adoption of the the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the one committee amendment is adopted. A question now is on the favorable report as amended. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 210 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 224, Chair, Finance Committee, Cemeterials, Burial, Transit, Permits, Required Information, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 12th District as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 224 is a departmental bill that requires a cemetery, including a crematory or other place for final disposition, to write the name and physical address of the cemetery on the burial transit permit in either the burial, interment, or scattering section, as well as the lot and space number or the name and address of an authorizing agent who took control of the cremains, all of which will be preserved as part of the death certificate. The purpose is to make this easier for families to locate the final disposition of the primarily cremated family members. There are no amendments, there's no fiscal impact, no opposition to the committee hearing. Move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 224 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 228, Chair, Finance Committee, Maryland Health Benefit Exchange, Qualified Health Plans, Dental Coverage, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd District as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 228 is another departmental bill. It requires that all qualified health plans sold through the Maryland Health Benefit Exchange include pediatric dental benefits. Under current law, a qualified health plan may exclude this benefit if pediatric dental coverage is available through supplementary standalone qualified dental benefits. The bill repeals provisions that allow this. There are no amendments. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
All right. Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 228 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 230, Chair, Finance Committee, Insurance, Hearing, Representation, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 22nd District as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 230, a departmental bill, requires the insurance commissioner to allow a business entity that meets the definition of a small employer to be represented by specified individuals other than an attorney at a hearing held by the commissioner. There are no amendments. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 230 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 239, Chair, Finance Committee, State Board of Occupational Therapy Practice, Sunset Extension, favorable.
Chair recognizes the chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 239 is another departmental bill, extends the termination date of the State Board of Occupational Therapy Practice by 3 years to July 1st, 2028. There are no amendments, no physical impact. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 239 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 240, State Board of Examiners and Optometry, Sunset Extension, Chair, Finance Committee, favorable.
Recognizing the chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you again, Mr. President. Senate Bill 240 is a departmental bill, extends the termination date for the State Board of Examiners in Optometry by 3 years to July 1, 2028. No amendments, no physical impact. There was no opposition. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 240 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 243, Chair, Finance Committee, State Board of Professional Counselors and Therapists, Behavioral Analyst Advisory Committee, Sunset Extension, favorable.
All right, before we recognize the chair on this, we just the floor laptops are not keeping up for some reason, so we're trying to figure out what's happening, but it's just not, the pace is not holding. So we're OIS is working on it. What's it called? ITO is working on it. It'll get fixed in just a moment. So recognizing the chair as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's because the committee's moving so quickly. Senate Bill 243 is a departmental bill. It extends the termination date for the Behavioral Analyst Advisory Committee within the State Board of Professional Counselors and Therapists by 2 years to July 1, 2026. The Department of Health advises that this aligns the termination date for the advisory committee with the termination date for the board. No amendments, no physical impact, no opposition at the committee hearing. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 243 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 257, Chair, Finance Committee, State Board of Physical Therapy Examiners, Sunset Extension, favorable.
Recognizing chair of the committee is the floor leader.
Thank you again, Mr. President. Senate Bill 257, a departmental bill, extends the termination date for the State Board of Physical Therapy Examiners by 3 years to July 1, 2028. No amendments, no physical impact, no opposition at the committee hearing. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 257 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Let's move over to Education, Energy, and the Environment. This is calendar number 2. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 69, Anne Arundel County Senators, Anne Arundel County Board of Community College Trustees, membership alterations and appointment requirements, favorable.
Recognizing Chair of the Committee is the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This local bill from our Anne Arundel Senators adds 2 new members to the Board of Community College Trustees for Anne Arundel County. Additionally, the bill requires that to the extent practicable, the governor must take into consideration the geographic, ethnic representation of Anne Arundel County when appointing members to the board so that all segments of the population of the county are represented on the board. The terms of these additional new members will begin on July 1, 2024. No fiscal impact, no opposition, no committee amendments. I move adoption of the favorable committee report, Mr. President.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 69 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 88, Senator Guile, Maryland Commission on Veterans and Military Families, favorable with one amendment.
Chair recognizes the senator from Baltimore County as the floor leader.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 88 establishes the Maryland Commission on Veterans and Military Families, staffed by the Maryland Department of Veteran Affairs. The commission must, 1, study to make recommendations for the developing and implementing a statewide strategic plan to make Maryland the best state for veterans and military families, including legislative and budgetary recommendations. 2, identify key performances indicators to assess the quality of life for veterans and military families in Maryland relative to other states. By December 1, 2024, the Commission must report its findings and recommendation to the Governor and the General Assembly. A member of the Commission must not receive compensation but is entitled to reimbursement for expenses. The bill takes effect June 1, 2024 and terminates on June 30, 2025. There is one committee amendment which adds co-sponsors. Mr. President, I move the adoption of the favorable report.
And the one committee amendment.
And the one committee member. Yeah, thanks.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the one committee amendment, the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the one committee amendment is adopted. Does the senator have an amendment?
I do, Mr. President.
Just one moment. Let's get, we'll do the report. Question now is on the favorable report as amended. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd District who has an amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. I feel it's my obligation as the co-chair of the protocol committee to put our pages to work.
Excellent. Put it on the floor.
I do have a floor amendment.
All right. The pages will collect and distribute the amendment. Just give us one moment, Senator. So this is the dry run for our pages, first one of the year. If senators aren't paying attention, feel free to just drop it on their desk. They will not take offense, I assure you. All right.
That's right. Thank you.
Senator may explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. This amendment was developed after consultation with United States Department of Defense State Liaison Office, as well as Secretary Woods from the Department of Veteran Affairs. This just basically adds a few additional people to the commission, including somebody from a military spouse advocacy group, an individual with experience in healthcare, an individual with experience in workforce development, and requires them to also consult with the Office of the Military and Federal Affairs and the Maryland Military Installation Council and the Department of Commerce when developing the report. And speaking with the committee chair as well as the floor leader, I understand that this is a friendly amendment. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, the senator moves the amendment. Let's hear from the floor leader.
Mr. President, we view this as a friendly floor amendment by the sponsor.
Excellent. Are any objections to the amendment? Any objections to the amendment? Without objection, the amendment is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 88 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 170, Senator Gallion, County Boards of Education hearing notices and bid advertisement, electronic posting, favorable with two amendments.
Chair recognizes the bill sponsors, the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill authorizes county boards of education to electronically post hearing information pertaining to the selection of school site on the local school system website. In addition, the bill repeals a physical posting requirement and specifies county boards of ed can post notice on local school system websites to fulfill the notice requirements for bids on such things as school buildings, improvements, supplies, or equipment valued at more than $25,000. The bill also updates public notification requirements by specifying eMaryland Marketplace instead of Maryland Contract Weekly as an authorized publication. There are two committee amendments. The first makes technical changes. Second amendment requires a county board to post a notice of a hearing regarding preliminary approval of a school site on the school system website in addition to publication of the notice in specified newspaper, and increases the threshold amount of costs of school building improvements, supplies, and equipment that require these advertisements from $25,000 up to $100,000, which aligns with current practice and law. I'd like to move the two committee amendments and ask for a favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the two committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 170 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 248, Chair, Education, Energy, and the Environment Committee, Libraries, Regional Resource Centers, Governing Board membership, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 38th District as the floor leader.
Good morning, Mr. President and colleagues. Senate Bill 248 is a departmental bill. It increases the maximum authorized number of public members from 1 to 2 on the governing board for each regional library resource center, which are located on the Eastern Shore, Southern Maryland, and Western Maryland. There are no amendments, and I move for favorable adoption to this report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 248 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 290, Chair, Education, Energy, and the Environment Committee, Certified Local Farm and Fish Program, Annual Waiver Reports, Alterations, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 9th District as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, Senate Bill 290 is a technical departmental bill which alters the reporting deadlines related to the waivers granted under the Certified Local Farm and Fish Program. The deadline for the office, the deadline for the office for the Certified Local Farm and Fish Program, Maryland Department of Agriculture, to submit a report to the Board of Public Works on waivers granted is altered from July 31st to December 31st of each year. And correspondingly, the deadline for the Board of Public Works to submit a report to the General Assembly on waivers granted is altered from October 1 to February 1st of each year. This bill passed committee unanimously. However, we have to hold it for a special order, if possible, for the purposes of another technical amendment.
All right, so the floor leader has moved for the adoption of the favorable report and to special order the bill till tomorrow. All right, are there any objections to the motion, to motion in special order? Without objection, the motion carries, and the bill will be special order to the appropriate time tomorrow. We've got one more calendar here out of Education, Energy, and the Environment. Oh, is this just a re-referral? It does. Oh, it's passed the deadline. Okay. Report. Clerk will read the next bill. Oh, yes.
Senate Bill 302, Chair, Education, Energy, and the Environment Committee, Commercial Northern Snakehead License Gear, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 9th District as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, Senate Bill 302 is another departmental bill which repeals certain buffers within which a commercial northern snakehead licensee may not fish with a bow and arrow, and instead it requires a commercial northern snakehead licensee who fishes for a northern snakehead to comply with all Department of Natural Resources regulations governing the use of the gear. The bill takes effect July 1st, 2024. It passed the committee unanimously. There are no amendments. I move the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Chair recognizes the senator from the 7th District.
Thank you. I just asked if we could special order this one day. I have a constituent been calling on it. He's got some ideas that I might be able to offer as an amendment. nothing wrong with the bill. I like the bill. Just this is a nuisance in the bay, and if we can do anything to try to eliminate them. So just one day so I can look at it again.
All right, the senator has moved to special order the bill. Any objections?
No, sounds good.
No objections. Any objections in the body? Without objection, the bill will be special ordered to the appropriate time tomorrow. All right, last calendar here. This is report number 3 out of Education, Energy, and the Environment. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 394, Senator Hester, Catalytic Revitalization Project Tax Credit Alterations, re-referred to Budget and Taxation.
All right, the committee moves to re-refer the bill to Budget and Tax. Without objection, the bill will be re-referred. All right, the desk is now clear. We're getting into the motions here. We're moving along. Let's check in with the Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance will hear 10 bills today at 1 o'clock and 8 departmentals, and we'll have 43 witnesses. Thank you.
Wow. All right, excellent. Thank you, Chair of Education, Energy, and the Environment.
Yes, we will have bill hearings today beginning at 1 p.m. We have 8 bills on the calendar, followed by a briefing on the topic of PFAS. And then after that, we have one standalone bill after the PFAS briefing.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you, Senator. Vice Chair of Budget and Tax.
Thank you, Mr. President. At 11 o'clock, we have a briefing on the Transportation Revenue Study Commission, and at 1 o'clock, 11:30, I apologize. Thank you, at 11:30, and at 1 o'clock, we have bill hearings. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Chair of Judicial Proceedings.
Thank you, Mr. President. We will have bill hearings at 1 p.m. today. We have 12 bills on the docket. And then, again, as I mentioned yesterday, we were at 88 this year. We're now at north of 215 bills. So what that means is that we're just not going to be able to vote as much. And so I just want to set expectations with the body that we're not going to be able to vote as much as we have in the past. And so if you have priorities, please focus in on those. But we're just not going to be able to put out a lot of product from the committee this year.
Understood. Understood. Thank you, Senator. All right. Let's see, other standing committees? Select committees? Other announcements? Chair recognizes Senator from District 6.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you know, every Wednesday we get together at 8 a.m. and we have our Bible study in the Neal Room. Everybody is welcome to come, please. And I've always stated, my office, you can have a nice cup of coffee and sit down and listen to a good message. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes Senator from District 18.
Thank you, Mr. President. I apologize for missing this earlier. Joining me in the chamber today is my staff. Many of you know Kara Dudley, who is now my Chief of Staff, and new to my office is Rochelle Cummins, who is joining us in the gallery above the President.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being here. All right. Let's see. Any other announcements? Any other business? If not, let's do a quorum call before we adjourn.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their presence? So the clerk will take the call. With 45 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland remains in session. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate of Maryland stand adjourned until Wednesday, January 31st at 10 a.m.
Without objection, so ordered, 10 a.m. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.